Today I'm going to be unboxing and taking a first look at DJI's latest drone, the Mini 3 Pro. So as you can see, the box itself is fairly small. All we've got in the box is the drone and the controller, because the Fly More kit comes as a separate package. There's a whole variety of different versions of the drone depending on which controller you want with it. I've got the top of the line model, which has the controller with the built-in screen. So this is our drone. As you can see, it comes fully assembled with the propellers attached. We've got our forward facing sensors here. If we turn it round, we've got our rear facing sensors here. And if we turn it upside down, we've got another set of sensors underneath. You can see the camera and the gimbal here. One of the nice features of this camera is it does rotate round to vertical, so you are going to be able to shoot in portrait mode as well as landscape mode. And the other nice thing about this is we've got quite a lot of upward rotation. You can see just how much here. I think it's up to 60 degrees of upward rotation, so we should be able to get some great shots with the drone. Taking a look at the rear of the drone, you see we've got our Type-C port and micro SD card slot. We've got two little catches here and here. If we squeeze them in, we're going to be able to remove the battery. If we take a closer look at the battery, you'll see it's labelled ultralight at 249 grams. So this is the standard battery, which keeps the weight of the drone under 250 grams, meaning there's very few limitations to what you can do with the drone in the UK. DJI do offer a higher capacity battery, but it's obviously heavier, taking the drone over 250 grams, so it's going to limit what you can do with the drone. So this is the controller that comes with this version of the drone. You can see we've got a lovely large screen here. We've got some buttons to switch between cine mode, normal mode and sport mode, our power button, and then we've got a return to home and pause button. On the top of the drone we've got some more buttons. This one looks like to start and stop recording and to take a picture. And then we've got two rotating wheels here. I think one is for the zoom and one is to control the gimbal. On the bottom of the drone we've got our charging port. It's USB Type-C. And we've got the slot under here for a micro SD card. At the rear of the drone, you can see our thumbsticks for the controls are stored here, and we've got two customizable buttons labelled C1 and C2. As well, included with the drone and the controller, we've got this additional box. We'll see what's inside here. Okay, so we've got some spare propellers. We've got a screwdriver for attaching and detaching the propellers. We've got our charging cable, which is USB Type-C to USB Type-C, and then it looks like we've got an absolute load of paperwork that I don't imagine I'm ever going to read. To power on the drone, we need to press the button on the back and then hold it in. And then it's the same thing with the controller, press the power button, then hold it in. So we need to select the language. I'm going to select English, click Next. I'm going to agree to the software terms, and then I'm going to select United Kingdom and Next. It's going to ask me to connect to a Wi-Fi network, so we select the network and then input the password. We're going to have to select the time zone. This is the correct one, so I'm just going to click Next. It's going to ask us to confirm, and I'm going to confirm. And then I'm going to have to enter my DJI account details. We've got the option to join the DJI Product Improvement Program. I'm going to click Not Now. And then we've got the option to go to a welcome guide, or we can skip this. So we'll hit Start, and then it's going to give us a brief tutorial on the screen so we can scan through this. And then we'll click on Go to DJI Fly. So we need to click on Next. And then again, we've got the option to join the DJI Product Improvement Project. I'm going to click on Not Now. And then we need to activate the device by clicking Agree. So we've got the option to purchase DJI Curve Refresh. I'm going to skip this for now and click on Confirm. So it's found a software update for us, so I'm going to go ahead and update. Okay, let's take a look at the menu. So we're in the Safety tab. We've got our obstacle avoidance action. So at the moment it's set to brake. If it comes up to an object, it's going to brake and hold there. I would rather have it bypass, so it's going to try and find its way past the object. We've got disable sideways flights. That's turned on. I'm going to leave it as it is for now, and display the radar map. I'm going to leave that on. Max altitude is 120 meters. There is an option to go above this, but if I try to do this, what will happen? It will give me a warning. I'm just going to leave it at 120 meters and the maximum distance to unlimited. Auto return to home altitude is currently set to 120 meters. Obviously, if it's really windy and the aircraft goes up to 120 meters, it might not be able to get us way home. So I'm going to set that to 30 meters. And obviously I'm flying and there's lots of taller buildings about. I would need to adjust that before the flight. And then we've got the option to update our home point. In the control tab, we first need to select our units. We have a choice of metric meters, metric kilometers, or imperial. I'm going to go for metric kilometers. We've got subject scanning. It's not letting me turn this on for now. I'll have to try it later when I've had a look at more of the settings. Gimbal mode, I'm just going to leave in follow mode, but we've got FPV mode if you want to change to that. We've got some advanced gimbal settings and gimbal calibration, so I'm going to stay away from those for now. Stick mode, it's on mode 2. We've got a range of different modes here. I'm just going to leave it on mode 2. We can customize our buttons, so it's the two buttons on the back of the remote control. Currently C1 is set to reset to the gimbal and C2 to switch between portrait and landscape mode. If we click on these, you'll see we've got a whole range of different options that we can change these to if we want. I'm just going to leave them on the default settings for now. We can recalibrate our remote control. We can go into the advanced settings if we want to. I'm happy with the default settings for now. And we've got our flight tutorial. If we click on the camera, so here we can choose the format. I'm happy with MP4s. We've got a profile for color for normal or DCine-like. DCine-like is quite a flat profile and it's going to be more optimized for color grading afterwards. I'll start off with the normal and see what it looks like. And we've either got H.264 or H.265, so I'm going to stick with the H.264. The anti-flicker, I'm going to use 50 Hertz because I'm in the UK. I do want to see the histogram. Peaking levels, I'm probably just going to use the autofocus, so I'm going to leave that off. Exposure over warning, makes sense to have that turned on. And I don't want any of the grid lines. I'm happy with an auto white balance. And then from a storage point of view, you can see I've got a memory card installed, but we've also got 1.2 gigabytes of internal storage. So I'm just going to format the SD card because I've used it before. And then we've got the cache while recording. So because I have plugged a micro SD cards into this controller, it's going to be able to record onto this controller. So we just need to set the maximum video capacity. I'm just going to set that to auto, and then we can go to the transmission. So at the moment we're on dual band, but there is an option to change that, and channel mode is just set to auto. And then we can click on the about. We've got our name. We can check for updates here. So if we click on check for updates, hopefully I've got the latest ones. And we can check the flight safe database. Okay, so we go back and take a look at the home screen. You can see we've got 65% battery left in our drone. It's going to give us a translation there of the flight time that we've got. We've got a signal connection with our remote control. We've got guidance on our obstacle avoidance, and we've got our satellites here. And we can click on each of these to get additional information. This takes us into the menu. If we click here, we can select the mode that we're shooting on. We're currently on video. We can switch over to photo, go for master shots, slow motion. We've got quick shots, a hyperlapse, and pano. We've got the record button. We can click here and it will show us any videos or photos that we've taken. I haven't taken any as yet. We've got our camera settings at the bottom. We're currently on auto. If I want to go for manual settings to get more control, I can do this, and then I'm going to have more options here. And that's going to take us into Pro. If I click on that again, we'll go back into auto. We've got our EV value here, so we can click here and adjust that. We've got our resolution and frame rate. So I'm on 4K. I'm going to go for 50 frames per second. We've got our storage here. So we're currently on the SD card, but we've also got 1.2 gigabytes of built-in storage. Down at the bottom, we're going to have information on our current height and distance away. We can turn the map on by clicking here. We can make it big, and we can actually use the Find My Drone feature. We'll click that to get rid of it again. We've got our histogram here, which we can drag to where we want it. We've got a button for taking off, and then here it shows us what mode we're in. So if I click here, it switches to city mode, and if I move over to here, we're in sport mode. So we'll leave it on normal. And then here it's going to give us our status notifications. So here, because we're inside my house, it's warning us about weak signal. And from here again, we can adjust some of our settings, like our return to home altitude and our flight warnings here. We can format the SD card. Okay, so I think that's enough now on the controller and how everything works. We need to get the drone up in the air. It's time for our first flight. Okay, so that's me down at the beach ready for the first flight. And in terms of the weather, it's not great. We're showing about 15 mile/h winds, although definitely the gusts are significantly more than that, so I'm not sure how well the drone is going to fly. It's also quite dark. We're about 8 o'clock in the evening, about an hour and a half before sunset, so it's not going to be the best image quality, but I am keen just to get the drone up and see how well it flies. In particular, I'm keen to see the tracking modes. So we'll start recording, and then we'll get the drone in the air. There we go on the screen. The image quality looks pretty good. We're only about 26 meters up, but that looks pretty nice. Rotating around nice and slowly. So definitely a big upgrade. I have the original Mavic Mini. I can give the Mini 2. So for me, this looks absolutely brilliant compared to using the screen on my phone. Okay, so we'll take a wee fly down the beach here. We should be flying directly into the wind. There we go. So in terms of speed, I'll stand this way because I'm away, keeping the microphone out of the wind. We're hitting about sort of 26, 27 kilometers an hour. And keeping the drone fairly low because I don't want to go up too high given the high winds at the moment. But it's flying pretty well, and in terms of the image on this screen, it looks absolutely great. We're about 30 miles an hour, 30 kilometers an hour there. We'll flip the drone around, and then head back. So coming this way with the wind behind it, there's about 37 kilometers an hour. I'm just going to flip into sport mode so we can see the obstacle avoidance has been disabled. And that's very impressive. We're getting about 58 kilometers an hour, but obviously there's a bit of a wind behind us. So in terms of image quality, everything looks pretty good. So I think if I walk in this mode, it should keep me in the screen, in the picture. And I think I can freely fly the drone. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just flying the drone, and the drone is keeping me in the shot. And we'll see how that works. And let's see what happens if I turn around. Bring it down a bit. So that seems to be working fairly well. We do have some obstacles behind the drone now, so let's see how it does with avoiding these. So you can see the drone sort of holding up just behind the hill there. How's it going to manage? Yep, it's picked it up and it's dodged around the hill, and now it's going to get up behind me and follow me along. Staying really nicely out of all those objects. So that seems to be working great. Oh, there it goes now. So it's doing a fairly quick spin round, and if I walk, will it keep me in? Just have to be careful there. There's no sideward sensors on this, but it seems to be working okay. We'll turn around. It's going to have to navigate through here. There we go, steering past those branches quite nicely. You see it's picking up the sensors up above it there, we're getting an alert. But it's managing to find its way past. So that's just out of battery, and this brings this first test flight to an end. And I have to say, I'm really impressed with this drone. Compared to my original Mavic Mini, which is my current drone, I wouldn't even have dreamed of flying it in these conditions. And the original Mavic Mini would not have flown in these conditions at all well, whereas this drone did not struggle one little bit. It is important to say though, I didn't take it up that high. 40 meters was probably the highest, but it performed absolutely flawlessly. The tracking worked really well. It's great, there's a whole variety of different modes, and the obstacle avoidance was really good too. So it's opened up a whole world of new possibilities for great shots that I'm going to be able to get with this drone compared to the original Mavic Mini. So it was definitely worth the upgrade, and I'm really looking forward to using it, particularly out in the boat, where I'm going to get it to follow the boat along and get some great shots of me out on the water. And it's about 3 miles out there, where quite often I'm out fishing, but obviously on a much better day than what we've got today. I also run a YouTube channel with my wife, Northern Ireland by Drone, where we get shots of some of the lovely beauty spots of Northern Ireland. So I'll put a link to that channel in the description. Please check it out and consider subscribing to that as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.